can't do them here. There's no parts here for them.
What's the most valuable bike in this building?
Well, there's two different kinds of value. There's irreplaceable value and there's monetary value. In monetary terms, I would probably say this bike here, but the ones down below are more valuable.
This is new. I haven't seen this one since.
No, I've had this, but this has been at the Ducati
yeah.
for 4 years. It's in the museum. But this is the bike that started the collection.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
In 1973.
And your favorite bike in here?
Well, my favorite bike is this MV Agusta called the Squallow, the shark. I never thought I'd ever find one to own. And it turned out in New Hampshire,
This one?
yeah, there was a guy who raced it twice and decided to restore it, took it all apart, and 25 years it lived in his basement, unrestored and in boxes. And he got too old to bother to restore it, so he sold it to me, and I spent a year restoring this, and it's probably the nicest one in the world, because he had put so many parts away that were brand new. All the lights and all these pieces were new.
Is that your most valuable, irreplaceable value?
Yeah, I could never find another one like that for sale.
So
What's the resale value of this one?
It's hard to say. I wouldn't sell it for anything, but because it was in the Guggenheim,
Yeah.
probably 60,000,
Wow.
something like that, 70,000.
This
Because
was
it's-
part of the motorcycle show?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a lot of bikes in there.
Did you?
Yeah, 5, 6 bikes. And I helped curate that show.
Uh-huh.
It all started right here in this barn. The guys from the Guggenheim were here and we're going, let's see, what should we get for that show? What English bikes and what German bikes? And,
Yeah, I had to go all the way to New York when I first come here.
yeah,
But I did go to the Guggenheim there to go see that.
yeah, I was there for opening night. We all rode up on motorcycles and leathers and all that. It was really fun. And I've been to Bilbao. This traveled all over the world.
Wow.
With the collection.
You did go to Bilbao?
Yeah.
And I asked you this before, but they're all in running condition, right?
Just put gas and oil in them.
And so what do you do to store them? So you drain all the fluids, and most of them. Are there any
Fluids
here
are
that you
good.
particularly run on a regular basis?
Well, there's 3 or 4 in here that we have not drained because we've been running them or for magazines.
Right.
But we are starting this month systematically to go through every bike in here and put restoration oil in it, return all the motors, keep them all fresh. But now they're getting too valuable and too difficult to ride on the streets. In the 60s, well, I could still ride them.
Yeah.
They were fast enough, basically. But today, with the freeways, everyone's doing 80.
And with a 999R in your other garage,
Yeah,
it's hard
and-
to get on a.
Yeah, I still
Single
ride 1 or
cylinder
2. Yeah, but I ride some old ones, but not too many.
And do you ever race any of these in the vintage racing category?
Well, yeah, so there's a couple of Giro bikes that I do,
Yeah.
but not these. These are too valuable. See, these are new, unrestored bikes. You can't put any miles on them. These are museum classics. But like this bike here, I'm going to be racing in September.
Wow.
The Earl's Fort Gorilla. That's being raced by me. And then we raced the maroon and silver Mondial in the Giro 2 years ago. Giro d'Italia.
And tell me from a collector's standpoint, the debate between restoring these vehicles and leaving them as is in their kind of unrestored natural state.
I can't stand leaving them in the unrestored natural. All that means is they've been neglected. Because that's true.
Well, it's interesting because there's as well as I do, there's people who just insist that you take it as you get it. And
Okay,
Yeah.
let those guys have whatever they want.
I agree. I'd rather see these. Yeah.
Okay, these bikes you see up here are new,
Right.
unrestored. I've owned them. I put 5,000 miles on them.
Wow.
I keep them in that condition. And most of these bikes down here I've owned since new in those conditions. And people say they go restored. I just keep them perfectly, and they're indoors at night. Now the Italians didn't have garages, we do. So they left their stuff out, and they say that. And then the other thing is, I was old enough to go to the motor shows in Milan, where at the motor show, that's what this looks like. Even though this is faded, I would take it out of shows and it's faded for the years. But this is original, unrestored.
So when you pick the bikes together, when you need parts, do you find all originals or do you custom stuff
No,
yourself?
it's all original parts. If I have to buy a second bike as a donor, I will. But most of these things, you'd be surprised, are in really good condition when I get them.
Yeah.
Like when I bought this, every part was there.
Really?
Every part. It was just neglected for 40 years.
Where do you restore them? Here, or do you
They
have...
were done here. Yeah, that lower garage was the restoration for 3 years. And then I do them as if they were appearing in the Milan show. Exactly how they were appear there, because that's when they polished them and made them look good for the show. Then when they started producing them, they kind of gray looking. And you know, the other thing too is a lot of people don't know that the paints of the 50s and 60s was like a shellac that turned yellow within a couple of months. So that's why this bike here, I left this for people to see, unrestored. This is as it came from the factory. Every chip on here was factory original. And the color is, the varnish has turned yellow. This was silver the week that I bought it, right? Bright silver. And so when people restore them, they go, well, wait a minute, this is the color. And I say, no, the color is that color right there. But now we have varnishes that, you know, they can clear coat and protect things. So
I like that color.
well, everyone does. And so when they restored them, they put this color on, which is actually wrong.
So where do you get your paint work done and all that type of thing?
I have people all over the world doing it. Like the guy who did that little gold and blue one is in Genoa. All the Mondials were done in Rimini and the Adriatic. This was done in Santa Barbara. That's original. Connecticut. There's a guy here in Oxnard with beautiful motorcycle, vintage restorations. Bill Key does the best paint to be like original, not too perfect, not show quality, but just right.
Are there any non-Italian bikes in here?
God no.
I thought I saw a Harley.
Delete that off the video. Edit that
There's
out.
2 Harleys down at the end. Did you see them?
I think I saw it.
Yeah, they're Italian Harleys. A lot of people don't know about that, but Harley bought Ermacchi in 1961 so they could go racing with singles. And they were world champions year after year after year under the Harley banner. Nothing to do with Harley. They weren't made in America, they were made in Italy. They just had their name on it.
Which bike took the longest from acquisition to completion of?
Oh, you can tell him around. I was constantly working on this. And I learned so much. It was like amazing. I learned
Hey, like that one passenger seat.
I know. Bicycle.
that's strictly I love that.
Yeah, I like that too. Board frame.
Yeah, in fact, we sold that.
Yeah.
Horsepower to weight ratio.
Go ahead, I want this thing's matching my jacket. That's to match the jacket. Rita's gonna borrow that in Italy.
Okay.
This is the first bike I had was 60 years old. Well, no, wait a second. until
That's the big question.
somebody has
It's short.
to use.